I am the grandson of William Ewart Gladstone Jones, Billy as he was known to the family, who was the third electrical officer on board the Lusitania. Fortunately for everybody, he survived the disaster. He was born in 1886 in Fairfield in Liverpool. Billy was educated in North Wales, and how he got into the business of electricity and the electrical industry and became a mercantile engineer, electrical engineer, we don't know. We do know, however, that he was trained partly at Camel Aids, the shipyards in Birkenhead, in the design department, before he went to sea. On the day of the disaster, he had just come off watch at about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and he had got undressed and got into his bunk and was asleep when the explosion of the first torpedo occurred. He was roused both by the explosion and by one of his colleagues, second electrician Latham, who eventually died in the disaster, and he got dressed as quickly as he could. He put some pants on and a jacket, and he went to his lifeboat station where he was handing out life jackets to the passengers when the ship went down. It is thought that as the ship went down, he was sucked down the second funnel, and he was washed out to fall into the sea alongside a lifeboat locker into which he scrambled. Now, he was not a swimmer. He didn't swim. It is thought that he then rescued a lady, and in the final account, the more detailed press account, there is an account of his laconic sense of humour where he describes trying to bring the lady into the box because every time he tried to pull her over the side, the box capsized, which is just the sort of thing he would have talked about. By an extraordinary coincidence, the locker with the pair of them in floated and bobbed alongside a lifeboat that was already over full. There were 80 people in the lifeboat, or thereabouts, and they refused to take him on board, but they did take the lady, and the extraordinary coincidence was, it is alleged, that the lady's husband was actually in the lifeboat. Billy Jones floated around for another 4 hours in the locker when he was rescued by another lifeboat. He was brought ashore at Queenstown, and he then took the lifeboat back out and led a search for other survivors. By midnight, he'd come back ashore, where he met McCormick, who was the wireless operator, and they spent the night with the hospitality of the local people in the Queen's Hotel. The following morning, he was with McCormick, visited the mortuary to view the dead bodies that had come ashore, and he recognised amongst the dead Percy Jackson, who was one of the passengers who he'd known from West Kirby, and much to his chagrin, he had not managed to have a word with him on the voyage, even though he'd spotted him playing deck tennis, I think the account actually says. Sometime during the rescue, he had contacted a local tug or trawler. It may even have been the Stormcock, we don't know. And he had asked the crew to send a message that he had survived. That message, with just the 2 words of safe Billy, eventually arrived in West Kirby with his wife sometime on the Sunday morning. He and McCormick actually left Queenstown via the boat train to Holyhead, and they arrived at Liverpool Lime Street Station, the mainline station in Liverpool, at about 6:30 on the Sunday morning, where he decided very quickly, because there weren't that many people about, to take McCormick up to his father's house, his father having retired to Wavertree for breakfast. Now, for many years, that is really all I knew, and the rest of the family knew about the story of the Lusitania. There is a strong family rumour that he was sighted for a decoration for rescue at sea, which he declined, which would be in character. The character of people in those days was to go through experiences like this and really put them behind them, not talk about them very much at all.